Alright, so what we have here is a Sears Craftsman riding lawnmower that's not working anymore. It's the symptoms are if I pour gasoline on the air filter, it'll run for just a second and then cut out. And anytime I've ever had a gas engine do that, usually it means that the carburetor's clogged and it's just not sucking in fuel from the bowl. So you could have a fuel shutoff valve that's, you know, off, causing it to behave that way. You could have a clogged fuel filter. You could have, this riding lawnmower has a solenoid that could be out, having the carburetor off all the time. But usually it is the carburetor that's just clogged with gunk because it's really old, it's that age. So what I've done is I've detached the fuel line. I'm draining all the fuel out of the gas tank. You can zoom in on these screws and stuff down here. So if you happen to have a Sears Craftsman riding lawnmower, there's a little support bracket on here that's going to be in your way. It's a 5/16 tool to get these screws out. Nice little bowl. And then 7/16 is the main nuts for the carburetor. Holds it together. There's another little 5/16 screw that holds this plastic holding for the air filter. And I'm gonna have to get a regular ratchet 5/16 to get that off too. It's not gonna do it with this little tool. Alright, so once I got all the brackets off, 7/16 ones, the 5mm ones, or the 5/16, which I think 8mm also works. I got this piece off. Let's see, if that little rubber thing's gonna squeeze through that hole. I think so. It's not completely out of the way. A wire down here I'm gonna remove. I believe it's carborator. Yeah. This nasty fuel in here, I'm gonna dump. See all the gunk and sediment in there? Well, some of that started to get into the carburetor, clog it up. So. I'm a pretty big fan of WD-40, and I had to use a screwdriver to scrape all the junk out of there too. And obviously an old dirty rag. Clean that out as well as possible. Be careful you don't lose any pieces, because this has a little rubber seal that goes around the edge there that you'll need, or things won't work right when you put it back together. So that's the bowl I've just cleaned out. You might have to get some carburetor cleaner too, but WD-40 usually works pretty good for most stuff. I'm spraying it on all these parts up here. There's all kinds of, it's almost like plastic. Almost like thin sheets of plastic that form on these parts down here. Working on all that. There's a little thing you can squirt it up in here. And there's a little screw here I'm fixing to take out. Screw down here. Take that out. Make sure it's not clogged. See, I'm squirting WD-40 all the way through it. And then into its hole. Make sure nothing's in there. And then up through the top, as much as I can. There's a little brass piece in there. That, see, I sprayed through and then I got something to run down through there. You're gonna make sure the little float, this little plastic thing right here, that's operating. So we're just gonna put everything back the way we found it at this point. Gonna put this little rubbery thing here through here again. The two 7/16 nuts go back on there to hold this on. Like sometimes I put the nut in the tool like that and then screw it on like a screwdriver. I reach into a tight place that works pretty well. Not even going to tighten it up past hand tight. This is one of the 5/16 or 8mm, seem to work okay. You know what, I'm going to skip this bracket for now so I'll make sure it works. The air filter back on. Ah! Ooh, that was bad. So be careful not to dump stuff in there. Set that on for now. Alright, then the fuel line goes back together. Just gonna kind of squish that for now. And then pliers, which went somewhere around here. They are. So slide that back on to where it goes. There you go. That'll hold that. Now we put fuel back in it. So we get it started. Alright, since we know that little bowl of fuel is going to be empty and it's going to need some draw, I am going to pour some fuel in the filter to get it started here. Not a lot, you don't want to flood it out.